Hello everyone. Today in this video, we're going to learn how to call an external REST API in Salesforce using Apex and Lightning Web Component. In this video, we will walk through a real-world scenario-based problem that I adapted from a freelancing project with a few tweaks to help you better understand the concept. So let's look at the problem statement. The problem statement is such as: imagine you are working as a Salesforce developer at a sports analytics company. Now your task is to build an LWC that fetches the football competition data from a public API, allows user to filter the result by location and competition type, display only competitions that have a valid start date and end date, show data in a table including the competition name and its logo. So these requirements I have curated from the test data that we are getting from the API that we are going to use. So for this demo, to get the data, we are using the footballdata.org API. It's a public API that provides free access to football competition data. Here you can see, this is the website. You can sign up to get a free API key and also to access the football competition data. Check out their pricing and view the full documentation. However, for this demo, we are calling their open endpoint without a token. If we go to the documentation, we are going to call this endpoint. I will show you using the Postman how you can fetch the data. So here you can see we have this endpoint that we have copied from there that I showed you. We are using the get method, and if we click on send, we are getting this data. The data we are getting from here, you can understand the hierarchy. First we have the area from where we can get the name. Then we have the current season, which will have the notes like start date and the end date. And also we have the emblem, which will contain the logo. So we will be using this data to explain you the demo, how we can call the external REST API using Salesforce. As you can see, this is the structure of the data that we have. We have the area.name, which will tell us the region or the country. We have the current season, start date and the end date, which will tell us the start date and the end date of the season or the match. And we have the emblem, which will give the logo or the image. So now we are clear with the data, and we are also clear how we will call the data. And I also showed you the website that we are using for getting the data, and we also know the structure of the data. Now we'll dive into the code and we'll understand how it is working. Before proceeding in the code, I will show you the output, what we are gonna make. So here you can see this is we are building. Let me refresh the page. So as per our requirement, as you can see, we have the area and the competition type. The data that we had, there you can see we have the type also, right? Here you can see we have the type like cup or cup. There are various also other types also you'll get, like league. Here we have. So when in the code, what is happening, when you are fetching the data, it is filtering all the type of competition and showing them in the Dropdown. So here you can see the competition types are there, and also the area that you are getting from the data, right? And this is for fetching the competition. Now let's dive into the code and we'll again come here to understand how the UI is working. First, here you can see we have the match data, right? So we need to build a table where we'll show the data like the competition name, the start date and the end date and the logo, as I showed you in the output, right? So for that, first what we are doing here in this JS, the show match data, whenever the component will be rendering, it will first come in the component lifecycle, which is connected callback, fetch competition data. In the fetch competition data, this method will call and it will fetch the get competition data. This get competition data, from where we are calling from API callout controller. Now if I look into the API callout controller, here you can see we are making the HTTP GET call here. As you can see, we are creating an instance of HTTP request, and on that we are passing the endpoint, which is set endpoint, which is our endpoint that we are using for fetching the data. And also we are defining the method, which is the get method. And as a response, whenever the status code is 200, in that case we are getting the response body, and that response body will be our JSON, and from here we are returning that response body. Now we are returning the response body as a string. Now it will again come back to the JS. From here, get competition data, after dot, then it will fetch the result, and that result we are parsing. And as we are parsing, we are accessing the node which is competition. Now if we look into the structure that we have, first in the JSON we have the competition, right? So we need to access the competition, which is a list, and in this list we have all of the competition data. Now we are storing that competition data in the competitions that we have already defined here as a list. Now we had two drop down, right, that I had shown, which is area and the type. So we are fetching all the unique areas and the unique types, and we are showing them in the drop down. Now if I come to the HTML part, as you can see, we are using the lightning combo box for showing the drop down for the area and the type. And here it is a submit button. On the submit button we have on click. Whenever we are clicking the submit button on this event, this will call the handle click method, and inside of the handle click method you can see here we have whatever the area and the type that we have defined here, like from this combo box we are going to select the area and the type, right? Whatever we are getting in the display of the area and the type combo box, so that will be selected and that will be stored in the values. Like for the area it will store in the selected area, and for the type, the value whatever we will select in the drop down, it will select in the selected type, correct? Now whenever we will click on the submit button, the data, all of the data that we have fetched, it was stored in the this.competition, which was a list, right? Now on the this.competition we are going to filter. We are checking if the name is matching with the selected area, and the type it is matching with the selected type, and also the current season start date and end date should not be null. So in that case we are storing all of those data which are matching with these 3 or 4 criterias, and then we are showing them as a table. Now I will show you the table that we are showing. Here you can see first we are showing the name, start date, end date and the image, right? And we are accessing them like name, current season, start date, current season, end date, as a structure that I showed you, right? Also that we are storing at the end on the filtered competition variable or the list, right? this filter.competition that we had defined here. Here we had defined now that's it. You're getting name, start date, end date, and the image. And whenever there is no data present, we'll show the no data present for the selected filters. Now again we will get back to the our output that we had built. Now I'll do a page refresh. As you can see, whenever we are doing the page refresh, it will come to the connected callback and it is fetching the data. Whenever the data is fetched, it will show as a green sign that it is already fetched, and for some reason if it is not fetched, then we can click on this fetch competition method and it will call the same method. If I show you in the code, here we have one button which is fetched competition, and you can see on fetched competition we are calling the same method for fetching the data. Right, now let me select some area. First Africa, and the competition type is cup. Let's see if we get any data. Yeah, we are getting the data like Africa Cup for 21st December 2025. It is gonna start and it is the end date on the 2026, and this is the image. I believe you can see this. So these are all the images that we are getting from the external API that we are calling, correct? Now let's see some other data. Super Cup. See, for this case we don't have any data, so in this case it is showing the no data present for the selected filters. So we'll again coming back here, and these are some of the best practices. First, it is saying use Aura enabled catchable true for get calls. So catchable true, with this what will happen, whenever we are fetching the data, it will cache the data on the client side, right? So in this case, if there is any issue like some of the data might be very large, so if it is cached on the client side, so it will be very easier. If it is second time calling the same method, it can provide the data from the cache. And also second point is always parse the external data safely. Use combo box option, as I shown you that we are using the combo box for the dynamic drop down, correct? And also avoid nested nulls using optional chaining. So let me show you what it is meaning. In the code I have also used the optional chaining. As you can see here, we are accessing the current season optional chaining with the start date. So it is checking if the current season is present, then only check the start date if it is present or not. If it is not present, it is not gonna throw the error, correct? So this is very useful. Like we have the current season suppose, but we don't have the node like start date. So in this case it will throw the error, right? It will try to access the start date, but it will not get that data. So in this case, it is before accessing the start date, it is checking if the start date node is present inside of the current season. So in that case only it will check the value of that node. And the last one is design components to be modular and user friendly always. So I guess this is the end of our video. I'll provide you all of the useful links in the description, including the API documentation link, GitHub repo with the full code, Postman collection, and I'm thinking of uploading this work in my website, so you can also access it for demo purpose. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'm planning more scenario based Salesforce tutorials, especially those inspired by real freelancing tasks and job roles. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with any problem statement you are trying to solve. So at the end, thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one.